For those who aren't familiar, net neutrality is this idea that, that internet service providers should treat all traffic equally. Your internet service provider shouldn't be allowed to block or degrade access to any websites or services, and it also shouldn't be allowed to set aside what's kind of known as a fast lane that allows certain content favored by the internet service provider to travel more quickly than the rest. And so kind of where we are right now is the FCC right now is taking public comments on the topic for 120 days, and will then write rules that either reinstate or further sort of fracture, what we know as the open internet, the internet we know right now. And so we're getting near the end of that first comment period. I feel like the reaction has been pretty solid to this. But outside of things like, the John Oliver video where got tens of thousands of people to come and call into the FCC, the groundswell doesn't seem, at least to me, to be sort of the same as we saw with the Stop Online Piracy Act in 2012. And so, I mean, is there like a branding problem here? I can hear it getting quieter as we're talking about this, because it's like the words net neutrality, I couldn't come up with a worse term.
Stopping SOPA had two things going for it. One was the fact that there was this very clear imminent threat that sites could rally behind. Wikipedia, Reddit, Google all did various things, from going dark to putting up messages around this day to get everyone's attention. And it managed to, this happened because hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, all tweeted and Facebooked and did all those things to get the attention, to call their senators and write them and turn the tide on something that looked like it was inevitable. Like literally, everyone in DC was saying it was inevitable, and 4 months later, it was unthinkable. Senators ran from it on both sides, and representatives. The other thing that we have a harder time with now is, SOPA and PIPA was ultimately to stop two pieces of bad legislation. What we are aiming for to preserve net neutrality is to push forth to actually get something sort of accomplished instead of stopping something. And that is a Title II, again, very sexy, Title II reclassification of broadband. Because the FCC made a mistake back in, I think it was 2001 or 2002, when broadband was still in its infancy, and Comcast was able to tell them, listen, we're not just pipes, like we give people an email address who can't live without their Comcast email, right? And we'll give them web space. And they thought, all right, fine. But obviously now we rely on this. They have an oligopoly. I think there's only a handful there's no competition. There are more reviled. Actually, if you look, there was a study published, I looked this up. It's the American Institute of something. They basically report on how much people hate sectors. You can Google this, I forget the acronym, but ISPs are actually the most loathed. More than oil or pharma or even the federal government. They are the most loathed, and with good reason. On top of everything else and how poorly they treat us, they also are trying to break the internet. They want your internet to look like your cable bill, so that you have different plans. Well, Bing is your default search, but Charlie, for an extra $20, we'll give you Google. $20 a month, that's it. It not only fractures the very spirit of the internet, right? It works because it's a level playing field where all bits are treated equally, but it also gives priority, and you see this with the extortion deal, gives priority to incumbents. Comcast basically made their Netflix traffic take a nosedive, and then they showed up at Netflix. I can only imagine what the conversation was like, but they were like, looks like your traffic sucks. We could fix that, maybe if you pay us more money. And lo and behold, Netflix paid the extortion fee, and their traffic rates went right back up. That kind of thing can't happen, because not only is it Netflix now that has a relationship where they get priority access, but it means the next Netflix that I want to invest in, or like I want to exist, right, can't win because they're better. They can't win because the incumbent made a deal.